So there is communication coming from the other modules in the car, but there isn't any communication coming from the transmission control module. To be honest, I was expecting this because our scan tool was able to communicate with the rest of the car, but not with the transmission control module. Of course, our next question is, why is that module not communicating? Let's start out by checking its powers and grounds. I took a look at a wiring diagram and I was able to locate the three main power feeds coming into this transmission control unit. I back probed them, so let's take our meter and let's see if we've got a good power supply. Let's start with the first one. And as you can see, 12 volts. Now let's turn on the ignition for the other ones. Hold on. Let's see what we've got on number 2. Volts as well. And number 3, also 12 volts. We've got no communication with our transmission control module. We checked the CAN wires and there is communication coming from the rest of the modules, just not from the transmission side. We checked the main 3 power feeds and they turned out to be just fine. Off camera, and you gotta take my word for it, I also checked the grounds and they were also fine. Now, what is our next step? Are we going to replace that €600 transmission control unit, or could it be that maybe, just maybe, we are doing something wrong? Checking for powers and ground with a multimeter, power probe, or scope isn't always the best way to do it. To prove my point, in the next step, we're going to check those power feeds again. But this time, we're using an incandescent test light. Now, although this test light lights up red, it is not an LED style test light. It does have a bulb, it's just red. Let's check that first power feed again, but this time, let's use an incandescent test light. This test light is connected to ground, so when I touch the power feed, the test light should light up. And the test light lights up, so this is a good power supply. Now let's check the second wire. And again, the test light lights up. I got my meter connected to that third and last power feed wire going to the transmission control module. Now 12 volts looks like quite a decent power supply, right? But watch what happens when I touch the power supply with a test light and load the circuit. This light bulb needs energy to light up. That energy is supplied through this wire. If there was something wrong with this wire, for instance a high resistance, there would be voltage over here, as long as there's continuity, but there wouldn't be enough current flow to light up the light bulb. Now, how much current does this light bulb need to light up? Let's find out. This light bulb needs about 135 milliamps to light up. that 135 milliamps is loading the circuit, something that a multimeter, power probe, or scope won't do. To light up our test light, that power feed wire needs to be able to carry at least 135 milliamps. That 135 milliamps is enough to stress and load the circuit, but it ain't enough to damage anything. Now our test light is not lighting up, so there must be something wrong with our wire. We do have voltage over there, so that wire ain't broken. There's probably a high resistance. In the next step, let's try and find it. I took a look at the wiring diagram and found out that the power feed is coming from fuse number 30 in this fuse box over here. I've got the meter connected to that power feed. Now watch the voltage as I pull this fuse. You saw the voltage drop. Now our test light does light up at the fuse over here, but it doesn't light up at the connector of the transmission control module. So there must be a high resistance somewhere along the way from this fuse box to the connector of our transmission control unit. The bad wire we are chasing is this red feed wire over here. Now I followed this wire all the way through this wiring harness and ended up at a connector on top of the transmission underneath the battery box. Now I hope you guys can see this, but take a look at the bottom right wire of this connector. Now I don't know if this is red, but I think this is your problem, lady. Now I partially replaced that wire and soldered in a new one and bypassed that connector. Now let's take the test light and check that power feed again with the new wire installed and see if this time our test light does light up. And as you can see, right now we've got a good power feed. So the bad power feed is repaired right now. Now you guys remember I clipped those CAN wires. Now what I did is temporarily attach two wires to that CAN high and CAN low wire coming from the transmission control module. It's not connected to the rest of the car yet, so it's completely standalone. I want to hook up a scope and see if there's any form of communication. So these are the two wires I temporarily connected to the CAN high and CAN low communication wires coming from the module. Now these are completely isolated and not connected to the network coming from the other modules. So these are the two communication wires coming from the transmission control module. So let's hook up a scope. That's one. And that's two. Now let's select automotive, communication, CAN bus, and press play. Now there's nothing there, but let me turn on the ignition and wake up the module. Now as you can see, there's something going on, but this is not what we were expecting, right? This looks nothing like a known good CAN waveform, does it? But remember, that module is isolated from the rest of the network, so it's also not connected to those two terminating resistors. There should be 60 ohms of resistance between CAN high and CAN low. And right now, there's no resistance at all. So let's use a decade box and introduce 60 ohms of resistance between can high and can low. So let's set our decade box to 60 ohms. And let's connect can high and can low. And there you go, a perfect can waveform. So after we repaired that power feed, there was activity on those can wires again. Now, in the meanwhile, I repaired those can wires and I test drove the car. Now the car is driving and shifting fantastic. The first thing I noticed when I started the car is that the carry indicator is no longer flashing, but it's acting the way it's supposed to be. Now there's one more test we need to do. We need to hook up a scan tool and see if we can communicate with the transmission control module again. So let's select TCM or transmission control module, and let's read the fault codes. And there's no DTC, so I guess Diagnosedan fixed it again, right? So we fixed this transmission without using any parts. Ivan is going to be so proud of me. Now, in my next video, we will do the giveaway on the two tools I mentioned in the beginning of this video. For you guys who sent me stickers, I haven't forgot about you, but I'm working on a sticker wall of fame. I want to show you guys this. It was a custom test light made by Mark, a subscriber of mine, and you can switch from negative to positive, and it's got these sweet silicone leads, but the sweetest thing of all, he has got my name printed on it. So a custom test light, so I'm definitely going to use it in one of my videos. Thank you, Mark. Now, about the scan tool I was using in this video, it is the X431 Pro Mini, and I've got to be honest, it's one of the best scan tools in this price range I ever worked with. There will be a link for this tool in the description of this video. I hope you like this video, and if you want to learn more, please subscribe to my channel. When you hit the little bell, you will get a notification each time I post a new video. And remember, Diagnosedan fixed it again. See you next time, guys. So I got a question for you guys. When a control unit is not connected to the network of the car, like when we clip the wires, are we still able to read fault codes or bench test that module? Can we connect our little dongle to those two communication wires coming from the control module, and can we still read the codes? Well, let's find out. I've got my test leads connected directly to the transmission control module. At this point, the wires are still cut, and we're connected to the side, connected to the transmission control module. So it's completely isolated and not connected to the rest of the car. So not connected to the network. In this video, we saw we need a terminating resistor for a good can waveform. So I got a decade box and I set it to 60 ohms. I've got two pieces of wire, just normal pieces of wire, and I'm going to connect them to the communication wires. That's one, and this is the other one. I've got my scope connected to them so we can see what's going on. These are my scope leads. Now the other ends of the communication wires We're going to plug into the little dongle of our scan tool and see if we can communicate only to the transmission control module. So basically bench test it. So we are using the power probe as a power source and of course as a ground source. And we're going to connect those communication wires directly to that little dongle. Now let's power it up. There it goes. And let's see if we can communicate. So the ignition is turned on. We've got communication. Decade box in place. The little dongle powered up by the power probe. Ground coming from the power probe. It's on right now. So let's select transmission control module. And let's see what happens. And there we go. We can communicate directly to a module even though it's not connected to the network. Cool, right? This looks nothing like a known.